Welcome to Disaffected. I'm Joshua Slocum, and this is the show where we talk about politics, culture, and relationships through a psychological lens. This is an audio-only episode recorded on July 11th, 2025, and it is the long-awaited second part of The Daughter's Tale. This is a conversation with my sister, Jessie Seeley. We had the first part of this conversation October 21st, 2024. It's called The Daughter's Tale. So if you want to go back and review that before you listen to the second part, that's where you'll find it. It's on all podcast platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. And we left you with a cliffhanger. I'm a little ashamed because it's more than 6 months since we did so. But welcome back, Jessie.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here again. I mean, we did leave everybody hanging.
We did.
On the edge, and I feel bad about it, but I'm glad we're back, and we're gonna pick up where we left off. I guess.
I think we left off with the last night in the apartment in California. You had just begun the story of. Here, I should tell the listeners what I mean. The last night that your father, Chuck, my stepfather, lived with us in the house. And that was the night that he tried to kill our mother while we watched.
Yep.
And why don't you go back a little bit and start from the beginning again? Because we just got to the point where you were talking about why you believe that fight between the two of them happened.
Yeah.
So let's just start with that again.
Well, to refresh the listeners, I wanted to go back. What was it I was saying? Oh, yeah, that I thought the fight was caused by me because Bonnie believed that I was having an asthma attack.
Okay. You did have asthma.
Did I say her name?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, audience, this is what happens. You're never quite sure what to do or what not to do, but I've already said our mother's first name on the show anyway.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, our mother. And now I'm totally sidetracked, so.
Well, you believed that she believed you were having an asthma attack.
She did. She believed I was having an asthma attack. And she was trying to come to me, and he wouldn't let her. Because the truth was he had just given me a dose of TCE, trichloroethylene, or chloroform as it was colloquially.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And it wasn't an asthma. I was having trouble breathing.
Of course.
But it wasn't asthma per se, and given time, it would have gotten better. And he knew that, so he was trying to stop her.
Interesting. I don't know what you were. Why don't you tell what you remember seeing and hearing?
Well, what I remember is I ended up getting scooped up and put into the middle of the fight and sat on the couch.
Okay.
To have my asthma attack while they were fighting. And I remember you coming out into probably what we would call a hallway.
Yes.
And shouting at him.
Yeah.
And he had her against the wall, from my perspective, facing the hallway, to the right of the hallway, to your left.
I remember this, and this is another. This is something that listeners you'll find when people go back and revisit these memories. Not everybody remembers everything the same way, and sometimes we can interpolate and mash up two different places. So if our memories don't exactly match each other's, I wouldn't be surprised about that. I'll tell you what I remember.
I know I have chunks missing. I know there was shouting and
Yeah, there's. I don't remember.
I don't know if throwing things happened that time.
I don't remember, but I do remember coming out from my bedroom into the hallway and looking into the living room at the point where I was scared that he was going to kill her. I mean, we'd heard a lot of fights before. We'd seen physical violence.
Yeah.
With Chuck hitting our mother. There was one time when he hit her in the face and he broke her glasses and she had blood coming out of her nose and the front of her shirt was ripped. You could see her bra straps. And she just fled the house crying. She just went
And
out.
left us there?
She left us there. I mean, she was terrified, of course, obviously. We were terrified too.
Yeah.
But yes, she walked out of the house and walked the alleyways behind our apartment in California for hours. And then came back and, of course, after these things would happen, everybody had to pretend that nothing had happened. Right? You don't say anything about it.
Yeah,
So
I don't ever remember any after fight.
I don't either. But that, excuse me, that last night, I came out of the bedroom because it was much more violent than I had heard before, and I was afraid that he was really going to hurt her, and I heard them screaming, and I heard her say, stop it, you're going to kill me. And I could hear choking sounds, and when I came out and looked, she was lying on her back on remember that gold velour sofa?
I was sitting on it.
Well, she was back, and he had pinned her down. He was kind of crouched on top of her, and he was beating her about the face and strangling her. And I could hear her choking, and she was fighting back and saying, stop it, you're going to kill me. And it was horrifying. And you were there, and I don't remember if our little brother Kurt had come out of his room or not, but I was
think
screaming,
he was still in the crib.
Daddy, stop it.
Yeah.
And that night, when the fighting stopped, everybody just went back to bed like nothing had happened. Those two got into bed. They had a king-size water bed in the living room. It was, 1983. So they went to sleep. I went back to my room. I don't know what you did.
I think that the part that I remember, I must have ran away when you came out. I think I probably hid behind you.
Maybe. I don't remember, but I do know that when he left to go to work.
I think I remember sitting on the floor of your bedroom.
Maybe.
Afterward.
Maybe.
I think I went and ran and hid in your room.
When he left for work the next day, she packed his stuff and put it on the front porch.
Over the gate.
I don't remember very specifically. But I think she had the locks changed. I can't. And he sat out there for a couple of days on the front patio.
Yep.
We were trapped in the house. He would not go. So we stayed behind a locked door. I don't remember how many days, but it was at least 1 or 2 days.
He kept coming back, too.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. He eventually left, but he kept coming back.
Yeah.
That's what I recall.
And the thing that still boggles my mind is it took. I almost feel guilty saying this, but really, the years of violence, she knew that he hurt me. She found bruises on me in the bathtub from when I had been left alone with him. I believe she knew that he was sexually molesting you,
I'm sure she did.
despite her denials. And audience, if that is surprising to you, I can't give you statistics, but I can tell you, and this is known among people who deal with domestic violence, it's not just my opinion, it is very frequent that the woman knows that her man is molesting one of the kids. Even when she claims she doesn't know,
Yeah.
she usually does. And there are complicated reasons for all of this stuff, but it is simply not true that most mothers don't know that their husband or their boyfriend or their baby daddy is molesting the children. It's not true. They do know most of the time.
Yeah.
None of this was enough. Our safety was not enough
Nope.
to make her put him out of the house. The one thing that prompted her to actually take action was when her life was in danger. Because he did almost kill her.
Yep. I believe it.
We didn't rape.
I ran. But
We didn't rape. Only her life was
Yeah.
worth that level of protection. So that's what I think about when I think about that.
I think about that too. I wonder how. I mean, it was 7 years,
Yeah.
right? 6 and a
Let's
half.
see. I was between 3 and 4 when they got married.
I thought you were all the way to 5 almost.
No.
No.
Might have been 4, but it was not. It definitely was not all the way to 5 because I remember their wedding night.
Right.
And Mother and I were still living in the trailer in Cortland, in the trailer park, kitty corner from Footy's Freeze.
Yes.
Right.
Luke.
Because their wedding night, I was. This is one of my earlier memories. I was upset that I was not allowed to go to the wedding.
Right.
But I stayed home with a babysitter, and my job that day was, she gave me a job, which I liked very much. Remember, this is what, 1977 or 78?
77.
I'm not, or right over into 78. But at any rate, my job was to take the pastel-colored Jordan almond candies and put them into the plastic champagne flutes.
Oh.
And put the little lace netting over the top.
You did the dessert favors.
I did. I mean, well, proto-gay in training, right?
You got to get those rare moments into. It never stuck though.
Yeah, whatever. I know I'm a failed gay.
That's okay.
She's been making fun of me as we record this. I've been spending a week here with my sister and her family, and she has been mocking me for the fact that unlike traditional gay men, I don't decorate my house well enough. I don't wear nice enough clothes.
I don't know. It's starting to look like that shotgun is sinking in.
So that was, I mean, I don't know how you, I don't think, I mean, we were 5 years apart, so it wasn't like we could talk on the same level. I don't remember talking to you about any of this. I don't know if we ever said anything.
You were more protective of me.
I was delighted that he was gone. I was so glad that he was gone because I lived in fear of him. We all lived in fear of him.
I didn't trust it.
Well, you were right not to trust it.
Right, I didn't trust that he was gone. Until we left California.
Yeah, we lived in one more apartment. We moved from Fullerton to Anaheim after that because I think the apartment that we were in was too expensive for her to afford on her own.
Yeah.
And we used to go to the bank weekly. Do you remember in the white 69 Dodge Dart? Mm-hmm. We would go to the bank weekly, and he would give her child support in cash. I do remember that. You remember any of those trips?
Vaguely. Maybe a 1 or 2.
Yeah, there was never any formal court. In fact, they remained legally married until his death, which happened, 2-3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
And then we moved to another place in California for a little while. And then we went back to upstate New York in 1984.
Caught a plane.
Yep.
Ate Pop-Tarts the whole way.
Oh, you want something interesting about that trip? That was the first time, of course, that
any of us
had ever been on an airplane.
Yeah.
We were on Capital Airways.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the last year before they went bankrupt and went out of business. And
I guess the flight was probably cheap.
well, yeah, it was a budget for those days, a budget airline,
right.
Which was much nicer than anything.
Yeah, it was so
that you
nice.
get today.
You don't get anything like that today.
But I look, because I'm into airplanes, I like aviation and ships and stuff like that. I looked up some history. We were on one. We flew across the country on a Douglas DC-8, that 4-engine jet.
What? The 4-engine with the...
Yeah,
oh
the first American passenger jet was the Boeing 707, and that was the 4-engine jet, single-aisle jet,
right.
that came out in the late 50s, early 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And Douglas immediately came out with the DC-8, their 4-engine. These were the first. This was the jet age, right? But we got a ride on one of the last ones.
I remember thinking the ashtrays were really cool.
Yeah. Yes, these are the days when you could smoke on airplanes.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was a smoker, and I hated having to travel because of the restrictions on smoking, but even as a smoker, I thought to myself, how in hell did they ever let people light cigarettes up in an airplane?
I don't really know.
Couldn't. There was no place there that you could get away from it.
No. I don't know. But we flew across the country and we landed in New York, in Cortland.
Yep. Well, Syracuse technically is where we landed.
Right. Well, they may as well just throw on the side of it.
And Cortland has a dirt road for airplanes.
Was Grandma already there?
Grandma? Who?
Was Grandma Slocum already there?
Had she
moved
back to New York? I think she was still in California because when we came back to New York, we stayed with Aunt Mary Ellen.
Aunt Mary Ellen, that's right.
And her family.
Kelly.
Yep, all of our
I
cousins.
Kelly.
Let's not say too many of their names in case anybody wants to find out who they are.
Yes, I love my cousin.
Yes, we have no quarrel with our cousins.
No.
They were a normal family, and they were kind enough to take us in. They lived on a dairy farm in rural New York. They were dairy farmers, and they lived in a big old farmhouse. 3 kids, 2 parents. And we spent, I don't know, it seems like we probably only spent a few weeks there, but it felt like we spent the whole summer.
Whole summer, it felt like.
Yeah. That was when I actually did pee directly on an electrified cow fence just to see what would happen.
Oh my.
And I can tell you that what you think would happen is what happened.
Oh no, you tried it.
I did. That electricity goes right up your pee stream.
Oh my God. And probably right on through the rest of you in uncomfortable ways.
It was pretty horrible. Yeah.
So folks, don't
but that's what 10-year-old boys do.
That's sure.
So, of course, we ended up living back in Cortland, New York, which is the town I was born in, and where most of our family
originates.
Ithaca, Searsburg, Cortland, Homer, Cincinnatus.
Smack dab in the middle of
the state. Yeah. And then why don't you tell them about the visit?
Well, we landed back in Cortland in 85?
84.
And we spent the summer with our auntie and our cousins. And then we found an apartment.
Yep, on Union Street.
We were there for a year. It sucked. I don't know if we were there a whole year.
I don't know. Did you think it sucked? What did you think? I kind of like. I mean, it was a weird place, but I kind of liked it. What did you not like about it?
Your room was haunted.
Yeah, it was a spooky place.
It was.
I did think it was haunted when I was there.
I was convinced, absolutely convinced and horrified that you slept in there, and your bed looked like this tiny little ant size bed in that.
It was a
whole
huge
room.
bedroom.
It was enormous.
Yeah, this is one of those. This is common in the Northeast. That most of our housing stock is still late 1900s Victorian houses and stuff like that. So this was the whole upstairs of one such house.
Yeah.
And
it was like split like a duplex.
A duplex up and down.
Bottom.
And the just really enormous rooms.
Yeah.
And the tiny little bed in that big room with the two dormers.
Dormers. The two dormers, and they were both with the closets in between or next to them or something.
Yeah. There were the two dormers, and on either side were the closets that stuck out into the room.
Closets, like the little handmade, old-fashioned kind.
Yeah, they were built in, but they were like wardrobes.
Right. And I remember we'd play hide and seek and go in those
Yeah.
and I would be convinced the whole time that I shouldn't be there because somebody else is going to find me.
I had a histrionic gay imagination even at that age, so I was convinced that there was the apparition of a high-collared Victorian lady who would stand at the front window at the top of the staircase and pine for her lost children.
Oh. Oh dear. Well, I was a histrionic little thing myself. I believed that there must be a woman in a white gown in there hanging out at the windows.
Naturally, what the hell else do you think ghosts are going to wear, Jessie?
Of course. Draping white, ethereal type scary stuff.
The bride on the highway who you pick up and then you look over and she's not in the seat anymore.
No, she's gone. Who was it?
It's the lady in white.
And then we left that apartment and we moved to our favorite house.
Yep.
I can hear that ceiling fan.
I know. Folks, if you're hearing a clicking, we are sorry about that, but we'll turn it off now. We've got a ceiling fan going because it is a heat wave up here in New York. We turned the air conditioner off for your listening pleasure, thank you.
I hope you're...
But even the fan... Now we'll have good room tone. Let's keep going.
All right. I turned it to low, so it's not as clicky.
So we moved
to Port Watson Street in Cortland.
Tell them a little bit about the house.
The house is magic. The house had a soul. And it was the first house that we ever landed in that felt like home. And I think we all felt that way as soon as we got there. And it was only us. It was only ours. And it was magical looking. It had the wraparound porch. And it was painted in this dark brown and yellow trim, typical of the era.
Yeah, this was a middle-class Victorian house. Comfortably middle class in its day. It was built in 1906.
The front porch was this amazing, like, half round.
Yep. So you're saying the house is kind of magical.
Yeah. It had all the things that you could have wanted, but the best part was that it was all ours.
Yeah.
No direct neighbors. We could run around the whole place. And nothing felt like we were going to be in trouble for it. And it was beautiful. Yeah,
it was a wonderful house. Some of the listeners may have read my article on Substack that I wrote called The Soul of a House. So if you'd like to hear more about the house and see a picture of it, look for the article, The Soul of a House, on my Substack. So the thing about this house, and Jesse and I, we just drove by it today, actually. We had a day trip, and we always go by the places we used to live. And it's still there. And the funny thing about it, I think for both of us, is some of the worst things, at least for me, happened there. Some of the worst confrontations between me and Mother.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a wonderful house, and I would live in it again in a heartbeat.
It still felt like home.
It did still feel like home. I don't know how to explain it.
Sometimes houses have that. Something bad happened there. Something doesn't feel right. But that one, it never had that.
No, it always felt safe and
welcoming.
Yeah. So tell them about the visit.
The visit, a couple years go by, and out of all of the times in our lives when it was good, not only was the house good, but even our mother was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think things got bad again. Anyway, it for sure got bad again when we had the visit from our father, or my father.
Yeah.
And somehow something went down. They made arrangements for him to come visit.
He was still living in California.
Yeah, he had been living in California. We hadn't seen or heard from him. Except Bonnie, I guess.
Yeah. Did you get any letters or anything? Phone calls?
Yes. I recall a couple of envelopes with drawings on them, but I don't remember what they said.
Remember to keep speaking up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
So you did have some communication.
Yeah. Nothing big. Just sending, I think, a birthday wish. But after that, I remember Bonnie opened it first.
Well, yeah, we were kids, so the mail was going to be opening first.
Yeah. So, out of all of the things, though, the communication there wasn't a lot of it. But then he came to visit, and I remember wondering why.
What did you think about that when he came?
I felt like she betrayed us.
Did you have any conflicted feelings? I mean, I didn't. Of course, back then, I didn't know any of the things he'd done to you. And back then, I was jealous of you because my perception was that he favored you and treated you like a princess. I had no idea what was actually going on. And of course, I was not his child, and he was vicious to me. So, that wasn't your fault, but that's how kids do it. They're like, well, my sister gets all the attention and he hates me and stuff.
But how did wrong.
So when he came back, I was horrified.
I was horrified.
I could not believe that our mother had made that decision. I could not believe that she would voluntarily bring that man who tried to kill her and who did such terrible things to her children back into the house.
I couldn't fathom it either. And then so there's one particular thing that really points this favoritism thing out.
Okay.
Which was, so it started bad for me immediately. Like, I remember being at the airport.
Yeah, the airport in Syracuse.
In the mezzanine area where we were looking down through the glass.
Yes.
And we saw him come up.
Yes.
They have kiosks and stuff, gifts in the in the airport, and he must have stopped at one and picked me up a bottle of perfume and in a little perfume. It was awkward.
How old were you?
7.
6, 7?
And it was a bottle of perfume, and I think he bought it because there was a miniature doll in it.
Okay.
But kid's perfume or something. But he didn't bring anything for Kurt or you. He only did that for me.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed.
And so I felt guilty.
It's terrible.
immediately. And then I knew you would be noticing it. And I would be shit. Mud.
Look at the position that puts two children in.
Yeah. It kind of always had some aspect of regret.
Yeah.
But
so he comes back and goes and sleeps in the bed with her in her bedroom.
Uh-huh.
Like,
he does. Right next to my bedroom, too. One door, like, less than an inch or two away from my door. I was nervous as shit. I don't know why she brought him into our house at all, let alone invited him into her bed.
I still don't know. And in fact, I don't think... well, this is the interesting thing. I don't think I ever asked her or talked to her about it, even
you knew
when I was
that we
grown
weren't
up.
allowed to. We didn't even
That's
have
the thing.
to ask.
We were not allowed to ask because even asking the question would imply that she had done something wrong.
Right, and you're not allowed to suppose any such thing about our mother.
Right.
Because what she says goes, no matter who it hurts.
So I'm going to take us into a break here. We're going to have a short break, but I'll just set it up for when we come back on the other side. I've already told my story. Fast forward a couple of years, there was lots of violent confrontations. One violent confrontation between me and my mother, but her abuse really peaked during those years as I was getting to be 12, 13 years old, and I ended up... we went to family court and I was placed in a boys' home.
Yeah.
But I've already told that story, and you have your own version of it. So, everybody, we are going to take a quick break and come back, and then Jessie is going to pick up the tale and take us through her teenage years. Come back on the other side.
You get something from Disaffected you don't find anywhere else? Well, you can help produce the show. Supporting members get access to our private Discord chat server, meetups, and audio episode recording sessions with guests. Sign up at disaffectedpod.substack.com or at subscribestar.com/disaffected.
All right, welcome back. Jess, take it away.
Okay. Well, the thing about your trouble years is that I got told the whole time that I better not turn out just like you. After you were sent off to a group home, I better not turn out just like your brother.
Interesting.
Because I loved music too, she just assumed that I was gonna listen to Madonna or be a floozy, and she often accused me of things like being a slut.
Awfully young, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This coming from the woman who got herself knocked up at 18 years old by a grad student bartender who never met his son.
Well.
And then she married a pedo.
Oh, dear. We should not be laughing, but we are. Here we are laughing in front of the masses. Oh, God, they're going to know.
This is life.
It's true. And
it's so fucked up. I tell people, it's... I sometimes, if I'm in front of a group of people who haven't heard our stories or the story of the show, sometimes I'll say, this is going to sound to you like Lifetime television for women.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that kind of stuff is real, right? It's not just made up for TV. We did live this.
And And I was 8 years old when I was regularly told that I better not turn into a slut.
Where was that coming from?
Well, okay, I'll tell you exactly. It was Halloween.
Okay.
I wanted to dress up like a rock star.
Okay.
And I got a mini skirt, and I had a Mickey Mouse thermal shirt, and I had leg warmers. And I thought
it was the 80s.
Yeah, I thought it was the coolest thing around. I put my hair up in little pigtails, and I was gonna be a pop star.
Yeah.
Like, who was it? Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson, yes.
Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson. Only in my dreams.
Yeah, only in my dreams. That's exactly where it stayed. I remember wearing that, and the first thing she told me was, "You look like a hooker." Like a prostitute.
You're how old?
8.
You should have said, "I learned it from you."
No, I made a stupid mistake because I was trying to be Debbie Gibson, and she didn't get it. And
Debbie Gibson was much more wholesome than Madonna.
And I said, Josh would get it.
It's true.
You would have gotten it.
I had Debbie Gibson on Single. If you audience, if you think I'm lying, that is a real word. Look it up.
What was on the B side?
I don't remember. I remember what was on the B side of my Tiffany Single.
Single. You can't say single again, and I'm going to giggle the whole way through. Oh dear. Oh, single. I want to buy some singles.
The kids think they're great now. The young kids are into cassette tapes now.
I know.
Which is, I mean, I love. Okay, we're going to do a digression here, folks. Sorry. I love watching reaction videos of young people who are discovering music from like the 60s through the 80s for the first time.
True.
Because they love it. They've never heard anything.
Even my own does.
They've never heard, frankly, good pop music for the past 20 years. So, but they're also like, you know, they started to get into vinyl records and now they're into cassette tapes. And it's great. I love it. But the funny thing about it is the cassette tape, the reason why everybody loved cassette tapes is because they were portable and they went in your Walkman. This is before iPods and things like that. But the cassette tape is the worst audio reproduction. It's far inferior to a record or a CD or anything like that. So anyway, so she called you a hooker. She
called me a hooker. Said I looked like a hooker. I told her that you would get it. And then she was sure I looked like a hooker. And you weren't there to back me up anymore, so...
No, I was...
So a hooker I was, and and we went Halloween trick-or-treating.
Yep, we are joined by Ruby the Poodle this evening.
She's our manager. She'll be
it's okay, baby.
Supervising all the edits of the show. Sorry in advance.
So you went out trick-or-treating.
Be quiet, Ruby. Went out trick-or-treating and came upon a house with a casket.
Okay.
And I'm in my hooker costume. And Kurt's in something else that makes him look like some kind of horror.
Horror, right?
Horror.
Yeah, Horror.
Yeah. Even though when he said it, it sounded like the other one. But she, there was a casket in the front yard, and somebody popped out of it. Mm-hmm. And her ass was down that fucking street faster than lightning.
Really?
Left us there.
Oh, well.
I mean, she left her hooker 8-year-old.
Well, I mean, it was like the night she left the house after she got beat up, and she left us with the monster. So it tracks.
It tracks.
Right?
Right.
We were talking about this last night at dinner, how when she got up on the table or the chair screaming because a mouse ran across the floor, and we're down on the floor, and she's up like...
And kind of like we're trying to jump up and she's pushing us off.
I know.
Probably not, but that's how
She
it
would have been
felt.
that one lady on the Titanic, like in the lifeboat, pushing her children out.
It's too heavy. It's too heavy. Do something, honey.
You let me in, or I'm gonna throw your heart of the ocean from Claire's into the ocean.
Oh.
So we were talking about this, and you said basically that you had stuffed a lot of these memories down until you were about 11, and you told me when you were 11 your life fell apart. What do you mean?
Well, by that time you had been gone a long while, and we had left that house, and ended up in a rural bumfuck trailer park
Yep.
a few miles away from there, and it was already a shitty existence. But leaving elementary school in the last year and switching to middle school in a town that, despite the fact that we were really low income, was a rich town. So I was not fitting it at all. And it was already hard, and I had been struggling, and one night I'd started to go to sleep and started to have a nightmare. And I woke up, and then all of a sudden I started to remember everything, like floodgates opening up that my father had done. Like specific memories.
Okay.
It wasn't that I didn't know it. It wasn't that I didn't know that I had been molested by him. But I didn't have specifics. I'd taken the actual memories and locked them away. And all of a sudden when I was 11, in the middle of the night, I'm up having a full-blown panic attack out of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Ran out into the living room on my knees. I landed on my knees at my mother's feet and just started screaming that I remembered everything. And crying and hysterical that was happening.
What did you tell? Did you tell her the details?
No.
What did you tell her?
I don't remember exactly.
Do you remember anything she said back to you?
She asked me what happened. What happened? What? And I think I told her that he had molested me. I think I said that.
Okay.
And I remember her responding, "Oh no, that bastard."
Okay.
And asking what happened, and I think I just was severely panicking and I couldn't talk.
Right.
And I was hysterical, and I think that went on for a while. I don't remember the rest of the memory. I remember feeling like I couldn't really figure out why she didn't know. I felt like she should know. That she did know, because she did. But she acted like she didn't know, really.
Yeah, I know.
And so I guess that was my first gaslighting.
Well, on that subject.
On that topic, yes. And that was the big one. From there, my life unraveled. I stopped being able to manage class. I was only in middle school, and I started leaving classes in between, going outside, sitting in the woods. I like to sit in the woods. And trying to convince other little kids to go with me whenever I could. So I was the instigator. I started being that person. And I could control that. If I could do it and nobody could stop me.
What, were you skipping class?
Mm-hmm. Skipping class in, I don't know, 7th grade, 8th grade. 6th, 7th grade. I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole time. And getting in trouble. And then I started running away from home. I was 11 the first time I ran away from home. And all the while, I know that I'm under threat of having to go to a group home.
Yeah, because you saw it happen to me.
Right, and she didn't hesitate to remind me that I was at risk. Yeah.
Charming.
I don't remember whether or not she did that regularly before or after the neighbor called CPS about the beatings and tirades.
Wait, what happened? This is news to me.
Oh.
I don't know this. Tell me about this.
Oh. Between the ages of 11, 13, when I was falling apart, there was a lot of yelling. Because the person who was supposed to protect me hadn't protected me.
Yeah.
And sympathy was short in our mother. Sympathy was only warranted if I acted right anyway. And I stopped wanting it and started being rebellious, yelling when I got upset. Or she did most of the yelling, but I started yelling back.
Yeah, well, what else can you do?
Nothing. It was, I mean, she did everything she could to me. I was falling apart, and she takes my door off the hinges, you know, like they say. But she took it away for like 4 months.
So you had no privacy?
No privacy. I wasn't afforded any privacy. She started going through my diaries or searching my things, and just like she was trying to find stuff.
This, you know, to outsiders who grew up with normal parents, it might sound to them like, well, you know, it is a parent's job. You don't actually have privacy when you're 11, 12, or 13. If you are in danger of misbehavior that can put you down a bad path, it is your parents' job to find out what's going on. So I understand that it may come across that way, but with our mother it was different.
It was almost like she would instigate doing it and accuse me of doing something I hadn't done, almost to plant.
There was a lot of that, a lot of
the idea, you know, and it just was like, well, if you think I'm doing it anyway.
Right.
And I remember feeling that all the time. If you're going to accuse me of it and I can't convince you otherwise that I've done no such thing, then I may as well.
So what happened with the Child Protective Services call?
Oh, the neighbor called CPS and claimed that there were regular beatings and tirades on me. And she didn't know what that woman was doing to her children, but it didn't sound fucking good.
Yeah.
And this woman couldn't say boo. She was an elderly woman.
Okay.
And I think that, she waited a long time, too. She finally said no. Well, and then we had to go through the whole CPS thing where I was told how to act.
Such as what?
How to act towards the social worker.
And how were you told to act?
Like nothing was wrong. Unless I wanted something to be wrong. They'll take you away from me anyway.
Oh, so you're gonna...
And what'll you do then?
So she threatens to kick you out of the house, and then threatens that they will kick you out of the house if you disclose the truth.
Mm-hmm. So either way, the threat was that I was going to get kicked out of the house.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get protection, because then where would they put me in one of those terrible places she told me about?
Yeah.
And what if I stayed, if I wasn't perfect?
Oh, it was a terrible place, but it was fine for me to be in one
Yes.
such place.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. It didn't... So the dissonance in me was really severe. Mm-hmm. And I knew that nobody was seeing what I was seeing.
Yeah.
Well, my brother, I wish that I'm thankful he wasn't impacted as much by it because he'd spent so much time hiding away from her. She was rotten, and
Yeah.
I was the target at that point, so there was no. He could fade into the background.
Yeah, I haven't spoken in detail with our brother about what his perceptions of childhood were, so I don't know if he would agree with my characterization, but from my point of view, I don't remember him being the direct target of either the physical or the worst of the screaming and emotional abuse, but he watched it all.
He saw.
He saw everything, and that is just as damaging.
Yeah, he has.
It's just as
anxiety
traumatizing as being the target of it.
And trust is very hard to come by for him as well.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
It's very hard to come by for me and for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So the
yeah.
CPS thing ended up being, of course, unfounded because I did what I was told.
I can't believe these people. They are supposed to be able to see through this. And I don't know.
She's a great actor.
Do you think? Because, I don't know, maybe I'm...
Well, when you have ammunition, like, I just found out my daughter has been molested.
Oh, Christ. She's so evil.
That was the excuse to not... to take everything I said with a grain of salt anyway. So if I did open my damn mouth...
Yep, you wouldn't be believed.
I wouldn't be believed. I had no recourse.
No, children don't. Children don't have any recourse. We literally go to prison for children for our parents' crimes.
Yep.
That is the normal way that child abuse is dealt with.
Yep. And I was afraid the entire time between the time you left and I ended up, well, sent away myself to a group home.
How old were you? So tell me about that.
I ran away from home twice.
Yeah.
Between the ages of 11 and 13. The first one, she was, I don't know, working a night shift or something somewhere. And I was at home alone with my brother, my little brother. And I decided to leave. So I hopped on my blue Huffy banana seat bike and rode 12 miles away.
That's quite a journey for a young girl.
All the way to Ithaca. In the pouring rain at 11 o'clock at night, in the dark.
Man.
So I took a really big, crazy, stupid risk. And I got all the way into town. What I didn't realize on the way there, as I was squinting my way through the pouring rain, it was really that bad. I hope this goes in our Lifetime Movie Network movie, because it was a really heroic scene. I was trying to escape everything. And I got all the way to the bottom of the hill because Ithaca's in the middle of a valley. And it's quite something. Apparently the cops had already passed by me, and they were at the bottom of the hill.
Waiting for you?
Waiting for me. And they picked me up, and they put my bike in the trunk. The whole thing, and it shut. And stuck me in the back of the car and took me home. Soaking wet.
Yeah.
Like a drowned rat. And that was when I got my first PINS petition.
What's PINS?
Person in need of supervision.
That's right. I remember it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was the thing she needed. The last the last nail in the coffin of my doom, because as long as law enforcement is involved in some way, doesn't matter the context, you could put your kid on a PINS petition.
Right.
And that meant at any moment you were at risk of being sent away. So I spent quite a couple of years that way in therapy and psychotherapy and nervous. Being accused of everything, acting poorly because I was a mess, and Bonnie and I fighting. And then eventually, when I was just 13, I ran away again. Except this time I was gone for a couple months.
Where did you go?
I went to Ithaca.
Did you hide out at friends' houses?
Uh-huh. I had friends, like an underground network of people that I knew, or I knew their relatives maybe in my hometown, or there was some connection, and I was literally passed from friend to friend.
Okay.
So I always had somewhere to stay, and in fact, people took great care of me. I was really lucky. All the right people stepped in.
So there were people who believed you about our mother?
Yeah, people who believed that I was running away from a bad situation with my mom. It was hard because I didn't know how to hide without telling the truth, but I was so embarrassed about telling the truth that
Yeah.
it was always, I felt like I was putting myself in great risk telling anyone that I was trying to escape her, because she was so good at manipulating people.
Yeah.
That if they talk to her, they'll never believe me again. And so I had to tell them what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that I had more ammunition, I guess, than she did. So I couldn't just be ripped away. At least that's what I was hoping.
What happened after your 3 months of having run away?
It was Christmas. And a number of really important things happened to me during that time. They're a little hard to explain because it almost feels like it's not real. I was 13 years old and on my own. So that's what I was doing. Experiencing a number of different kinds of families that were nothing like ours. Single moms, disabled mothers, all sorts of moms. None of them were assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Or wretched to their kids. And it was nice until Christmas hit, and then I got lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And I got sad because I didn't have my family. And everybody else had Christmas with their family, and it was weird if I were there. So
Right.
I don't know how it happened. Some family took me in, and they were really wealthy. And some Asian girl, they were like Cornell professors or something like that. And she gave me presents. And they were her presents.
Oh my gosh.
You know, so I got new mittens and new boots and snow boots because it was cold out. And they took care of me. But now that I think back of it, they weren't her presents.
Okay.
They got them for me. I think they were like angel tree people because I had gone to the Salvation Army and I was hanging out there. And they went to go donate and they picked up a stray.
Mm-hmm.
And that was me. And they kept me for Christmas.
Okay.
But I was still really sad, so I turned myself in to the cops. I walked into the police shop.
Okay.
And I knew them all. I knew all the police. They knew who I was because I didn't hide. I changed the way I looked. Like ripping off my braces and cutting my hair off and only wearing hats and kind of looking like a 13-year-old boy might look.
Yeah.
But I was a girl, and once you saw me, but they never figured out that that was who I was.
Okay.
Even though I was everywhere. Missing girl. And then they took me to a group home. They don't pass go, don't collect $200.
Mm-hmm.
Go straight into placement. And I went and did my first group home at that time. It was a 30-day place, the temporary hold. It was a nice place. But it was lock and key.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to leave, and only bad kids are there. So there we were in the middle of winter. And from there was a grand total of 11 placements over the course of 13
Wow.
to 16 and a half, almost 16 and a half. With one break in there. After the first year of placement, after I got out of that initial 30-day place, I ended up in a place more like what you went to. A group home, a long-term group home.
Yes.
And I did really well there. In fact, I did so well, I was like a straight-A student kind of kid.
Okay.
I completely turned my act around. And I thrived while I was there because I wasn't with Bonnie.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that I was in a place where bad kids were supposed to be, I still got more than I think a lot of the other kids got.
Okay.
But when I went back home, the summer of hell started all over again. I was 14 at that time. I hadn't been at home for more than a year. And the last time I'd seen Bonnie in any context besides the cops or family court or a psychiatrist was then. And I went home, and she thought I was now a full-fledged angel. I had straight A's. I was going to do brilliantly. I convinced everyone to let me go home. And I had a great summer.
Okay.
I had a great summer. I got a boyfriend. He was wonderful. Even she liked him. And I went to his junior prom, and that was cool. And then school started again. And I started getting harassed. A lot of questions.
From whom?
From all the kids who were like, what happened to you? We heard you got sent off. We heard, why'd you get shipped off? What's wrong with you? I couldn't go back to the extracurriculars I'd had, or I didn't feel like I fit there. And then my boyfriend broke up with me, and I spiraled.
Okay.
So I lost it at home. I got into maybe one big fight with Mom. And she sent me away again.
Okay. Where did you go this time?
Oh, God. Multiple places. But
Okay.
eventually I landed in a place called the Children's Home of Wyoming Conference. I would run away.
And that was in Rochester, right?
Yes, it was in Rochester, New York, as I recall.
Okay.
It's hard to know when you're locked up behind doors.
Yeah.
And that you're not allowed to leave for a while and you're just a kid. So, yeah, I hit Rochester.
Okay.
In the meantime, between my second placement starting and landing in this diagnostic center, I had...
So this was a place where... what was the nature of this? It sounds like it was more than just a group home.
Right. So the campus was like a giant facility, and there were multiple types of facilities there for kids. But this particular one was a heavy-duty mental health locked facility that you had to go to for diagnosis.
Okay.
It was literally what they did. And they had to render a diagnosis for your child within 30 to 60 days and ship you back out. You had to be out. And they had to know what was going on. I don't know how this works, but that was the deal. And I wasn't allowed to do anything. I had to go straight there, and it was like the last ticket the last golden ticket for the fucked up kids was ending up in this place. I was there with a range of children between the ages of 5 and 15. I was the oldest. Some of these kids were really, really fucked up. Like, have you ever met a schizophrenic 5-year-old?
No.
They're terrifying.
Is that really a thing?
I don't know what was wrong with the kid.
At 5 years old, schizophrenia?
But he was
I'm
a terror.
skeptical.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was a terror, but
He
I'm
was a
skeptical
terror.
that he was a schizophrenic.
Yeah, something was wrong with him, and it probably stemmed from his parents, just like the rest of the kids there.
I wonder, yeah. So,
There was like 30 children in this place. At any given time, there was never an empty bed. So the rotation was full.
okay.
It was the kind of place where they'd restrain you or shoot you up with Thorazine.
Okay.
So I couldn't act out. I did once. I made the mistake of doing it once.
Mm-hmm.
I got a serious concussion.
How?
I got restrained, and my head hit the corner of a wooden post bed.
Okay.
And then they injected me with something.
Lovely.
All because I was screaming about something. I was screaming about what happened, how I got my diagnosis.
What diagnosis? You remember, the audience doesn't know this yet.
Right. Well, when you're in a diagnostic facility, you get a diagnosis. And the incident where I was restrained was a direct result of the reason I finally got my blessed diagnosis. Let me point out a couple of things that happened in this place.
Okay.
One of the things that happened was that I was scheduled to meet with a therapist, a psychotherapist, every week. And when I'd gotten to the facility, my mother had made sure the therapist had given me a book that she had picked up about borderline personality disorder. So she front-loaded
Jesus
the
Christ.
whole thing the day I showed up. Had already talked to my therapist and given her a copy of this book.
And you're how old?
15.
Okay.
So that I could read it. So I did my homework and I read that fucking book. And it was all about BPD. And the name of the book was called I Hate You.
Don't Leave Me.
That's the one.
What did you think when you read it?
I think I analyzed it skeptically against myself.
What does that mean? Put that in plain terms.
I read it looking at myself, seeing if that was me. Seeing if I didn't ever think that, at least not at that time, I didn't suspect until later that was Bonnie's problem and not
Did you
mine.
think it was yours?
I thought it was mine.
Well, this is the interesting part about this. I mean, first, I don't know what the standards were in those days, but today you are not supposed to diagnose a minor with a personality disorder because, frankly, at least half of teen girls are functional borderlines in their adolescence, and a lot of boys too, and that's called adolescence.
Yes.
When you add on the actual child abuse and the instability, you're getting a kid who is going to react with emotional violence and instability and acting out and all of these things, which of course are indeed behaviors of borderline personality disorder. But they are also universal, natural, quote unquote, responses when children are being abused.
Yeah, trauma responses.
So, you get this diagnosis of borderline personality disorder at 15.
Can I tell you the story about?
Yeah. No, you're telling the audience this. Tell us the story.
Well, it was pretty crazy. So I had this book, and probably 30 days into my stay there, I had my first meeting between the psychiatrist and Bonnie. She came to visit me for the first time.
Okay.
But she wouldn't visit me unless it was with the psychiatrist. So we did that, and I found myself sitting on the same side of the desk as my psychiatrist so that I wouldn't be anywhere near, because I hated her for sticking me here in this place. And I was situated away from everything, like away from escape, away from the door, away from, so that she could come in and she could go and I would be away from her. Unfortunately, she came loaded with her teary act that she had been so sad that I wasn't home and had anything changed, and just ready to get to turn the performance on for the and I knew that was coming, and I never even talked about it. I figured that it was going to be a rational conversation. Now that I'd had all the information, I must be this problem, and I can get to the bottom of this problem even if I hate her.
Okay.
But she acted like some sad... she acted like the abused one.
Naturally. Reversal.
Right. And I started to get really mad and shaking and sweating and angry and rage.
Yep.
And I stood up in my chair, and between me and Bonnie is a desk, a big metal one. Next to me, to my left, is my therapist in a chair, suddenly reacting to me standing up all of a sudden. This is the kind of place where they Thorazine you, right? So you don't want to move too fast in these places. And I took the photograph that was on my therapist, a picture of her and her kids, I think, and I smashed the glass in it. And I held up a piece of glass toward Bonnie.
Okay.
And I said, "Let me the fuck out of here." But I didn't realize I'd put this big shard of glass in my hand, and I was cut, and I was bleeding, and I looked insane.
Right.
I was insane. I was insane.
Yeah, naturally.
And I waved it at Bonnie, and I said, "Let me the fuck out of here, or I'll kill her." And that was it. That was all I needed to do. Be psychotic for a minute, and that was my diagnosis. That was it. All of her tears were validated. I was insane. I couldn't stand it. I was so mad, and I knew it was happening. And they let me out the door because I was homicidal and waving a knife-sized piece of glass.
How can trained professionals looking at a 15-year-old girl not suspect that this is a trauma? Borderline is often a result of trauma itself, but how could they not have been looking at our mother?
I don't know. Just the fact that it had happened to you, and then it happened to me, I thought would be enough for anyone to listen to me. That it wasn't okay between us, and I didn't trust her, and she was awful.
They ought to put the fucking parents in a 3-month placement and observe their goddamn behavior.
Really, I felt...
This infuriates me.
I was under a microscope.
It's not any different now. You know that, right? It's not better now.
You had jail clothes you had to wear. You weren't allowed to own anything except for, what was in a pencil box.
Yeah, this is standard psych ward protocol stuff.
One person came to visit me on a visitation there, and it wasn't even her. It was my friend from school and his mom. They came, and they brought me, paintbrushes so I could paint and paint. I still have.
You were whispering there. She said painting.
Painting. Yeah, they brought me paintbrushes, and that's when I started painting.
Grandma Slocum came to visit me when I was in the group home.
Did
Mother
she?
never did.
Never?
Never. Not once.
She told us she did.
I don't remember it. I remember home visits where I got put on the Greyhound to go back to her house, but I don't. Maybe she did. Maybe she did once.
No.
But I don't remember it.
Oh, she'd leave us alone and say she was going to visit you.
Really?
I hope she's listening.
She may have come up during the first 1 month placement where I was in the 1 month evaluation center. No. But I don't remember her coming when I spent several years in the group home. Yeah. So I'm not surprised you didn't get a visit either. But I mean, really. Yeah.
Yep.
So
that was it. That was the moment I earned my diagnosis of BPD. And indeed, I looked I had a psychotic break.
Well, of course.
I literally did.
Of course, but you are 15.
But I wasn't BPD. Sucked. It sucked. I knew
all of this time, and it's so unjust. Parents do not get the scrutiny. I don't even know how to talk about it.
I never once had a chance, never once in any one of the 11 placements I had, to get proper psychotherapy to dig into my past. Not once. 11 places.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I got out of it was not being home.
That's not nothing, although it
was something for a while. And I sure did find a way to have fun. Oh, I was good at running away, and I did. I was bad.
No, I know. You ran away a lot of times.
I was trouble, and I enjoyed it.
Of course.
I was the sane one in all of these places, and I would lead the bad party. Like, let's go, kids.
Mm-hmm. It's like some kind of fucked up Goonies.
I found myself in some wonderful situations. Experiences I'd never give back during that time. And some terrible ones.
Sure.
Most of it was shit, I'm not gonna lie. But there's some really great memories I have with people that weren't my family, unfortunately, but they felt like they were eventually.
Yeah. So, when did you go out on your own?
Oh, I had my last runaway from a Catholic boarding house, St. Anne's. And believe it or not, there were still nuns working there at that time. No, they didn't wear frocks. I wish they did. But, yeah, I ran away when I got a home visit. I got my first home visit from my final placement. I was all the way in Albany, and I went home for the weekend, and I did the weekend. And then I got back on the bus to go back. And somebody else had been in Ithaca, too, that came from the same place and was catching the same bus back, of course. And we looked at each other, and we were like, we got to Syracuse from Ithaca, and we never got back on the second bus, the layover. Mm-hmm. We just found ourselves wandering through the ghetto of Syracuse until we got picked up by another one of our group home buddies. Mm-hmm. We're all over the state at that point. Any trouble you want to find, you can find us. And his drunk mom drove us back to Ithaca. I found myself in a payphone, when they still existed, calling Mom and asking if I could come home.
Okay.
And she said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm in Ithaca." And she said, "Don't come here."
Don't come home.
I begged to come home. Don't make me go back, please. I don't want to go back. You can't go back now. You screwed everything up. And she wouldn't let me come home. I had nowhere to sleep, nothing. That was it. That was the beginning of my life as a homeless person at 16. And my lovely BPD diagnosis went with me wherever. It wasn't until...
So nobody believed anything you said and treated you like you were the crazy one.
Oh, well, and I treated myself like I was the crazy one.
Yeah,
too,
well,
because
of
I
course.
believed it.
Well, and in some sense you were crazy, and I was crazy at that age too, from trauma.
I was driven crazy by all of it.
Yeah.
And there were definitely things going on that I did that I shouldn't have done, but none of it, I just look now, and if it were my kids, I never would have acted that way.
No normal, loving parent would have acted in any of the ways that our mother did. None of this is normal.
Every day I hear her in my head, even sitting here now. I can imagine her listening to me and talking over me and telling her, that's not true. That's not what happened.
Yeah, well, you know what? If she happens to be listening to this, do you have anything to say to her?
I put your voice on mute whenever I want to. Because it's not as strong as mine, and you lost.
Yeah, she did, because we survived. And you have built... Your life has not been easy since then.
No.
But you have built a family and...
A life.
A life
A
that
happy
we did
one.
not have, and...
A loving marriage.
A loving marriage.
Of
And
17 years, thank you.
And a child who has a mother and a father in the home.
Yeah.
And you've never been homeless as an adult, and nobody's had to go through that.
My kids had a stable school. All of the things that could have been the least of which I could ask for are the first things I provided my own family. And of course, you see everything different when you become a parent. And so many people talk about how now they understand their parents.
Yeah.
Well, to be sure, now I don't.
I think this is a good place to end it. And I want to thank you for having this conversation with me. I know it isn't easy. And it's really the first time that you've talked about this.
At all in public.
At all in public.
Yeah, this is it.
So thank you. There was a lot going on in that house with each of us. We all had our own stories. They were very similar and overlapping in some ways and different in others. But listeners, this is what abused children go through. And they continue to be abused by the system. Even though there are some people working in child protection and child mental health who mean the best and are doing the best that they can, and they care about the children. That is true.
I believe that too.
But the system is fundamentally warped, and it still judges the children for the literal crimes of their parents. I'm not talking about metaphorical crimes. I'm talking about literal crimes, violent crimes, rape, pedophilia, beating, extortion,
Yep.
psychological torture. The parents are not removed.
No.
The parents are not placed under observation. The children are, and you may say, and it would be fair to say this, that what are we to do? We can't leave the children in the home with such a parent. But you must understand, as I think you probably do from having listened to this conversation, that these people didn't even understand that in any way, and if they did, we can't know this. They gave us no indication, either me or my sister, that they knew that our mother was the criminal. No one ever told me, and I don't think anyone ever told you, none of these professionals ever said, we know what your mother has done to you. No one ever said that to me. And I don't think anyone said it to you either.
Nobody ever said that to me. The closest I ever got was, well, I don't know what you're even doing here.
Yeah, I know.
I heard that a few times.
Yeah, I did too. I was put in a group home with boys, also from troubled homes, also from abusive backgrounds, but
Often
some of them
criminal.
had committed arson, some of them had raped, some of them had stolen cars. I never did anything like that.
No, me
Nothing.
neither.
I didn't even. You skipped school. I didn't even skip school.
Yeah.
I was a straight A student.
Oh.
You know.
I was
But that's they put the quote unquote good kids in with the really troubled kids too. So, Jesse, thank you very much. And we're going to talk again
I think so.
in the future about
Tease that third episode.
yeah, about what our life got very interesting as adults dealing with our mother, and we had, you and I had not hard. It wasn't like we ever went no contact, but we were sort of estranged from each other for quite a long time.
Well, we were on two different sides of Bonnie, and that was just how it had to be for her.
Yeah,
We didn't really know each other until about a decade ago, and
it's true.
And now we're friends.
Yeah,
Go
thank
figure.
goodness. All right. This has been Disaffected. Thank you all very much for listening. I hope this is interesting to you. We're my sister and I talk about we talked about it before we recorded, and what we hope that we haven't come across as giving you trauma porn. That's not the point of this. We hope instead that this will illuminate some things that if you haven't experienced this in your family of what this is actually like for children, many children who get into the system. So thank you all very much for listening. We appreciate you, and we'll see you again next time.